This is Tristan Rimbaud, psychic medium and author. I wanted to speak briefly about the COVID-19 coronavirus pandemic and Easter 2020. I know this year has been extremely unorthodox for essentially everyone on the planet, but I wanted to point out to my clients and those interested in my work that there is always a reason for the madness, if you will. In the case of the pandemic, it has attached to it the energy of change. When I started my meditations for 2020 in January, I instantly noticed an energy of change for the year as a whole, and I made note of it, having noticed in every psychic reading that I've done in 2020 that individual has experienced change themselves, whether it is losing a job, being furloughed, being laid off, moving, having a baby, getting divorced, getting married. Change is a predominant energy attached to 2020. And I haven't noticed sort of a yearly energy like this since 2003. The experiences that we're all going through of self-isolation can be very difficult for individuals who don't have a lot of family members or friends to rely on, for those who have mental illnesses, and for those who are quite literally just not used to being by themselves all the time. It can be a traumatic experience. So I urge you to keep your family members and friends close to you, communicate with them over the telephone, through the internet, through Skype, through Zoom, one of the only companies that's going to benefit from this pandemic. At the end of all of it, the point, I think, to an extent, is to try to bring people closer together and to recognize their worth and their value. The reason I wanted to do this video in the first place is I wanted to point out that when we experience something negative, the human instinct is to go through what's called the fight or flight response. The fight or flight response is, let me open my arms and experience this problem and learn from it, or let me run in the other direction as fast as I can. I know a lot of people are doing a little bit of both during this, especially with Easter being the first major holiday of self-isolation for the majority of the world. A lot of church services are now online instead of in person to try to protect the individuals who would have attended otherwise. I've always told my clients, God isn't taking a coffee break. Everything that happens to you, whether it be positive or negative, is happening for a reason. And there are always lessons, or at least a lesson, attached to each individual experience. In the case of this pandemic, there could be lessons of self-resilience. There could be lessons of faith, of inner strength, of learning to conquer your inner saboteur. There are lessons for the positive attached to these negative experiences. So try to, the best that you can, especially if you're one of the lucky people who found toilet paper, be happy and be blessed and be thankful for what you have. And more importantly, think about what you don't have during this Easter. If you're healthy and you have a home and you have food to eat, think about the doctors and nurses that are putting their lives at risk every single second of every day, not only in the United States, but worldwide, to try to curb this and to keep as many people alive as possible. Say prayers for them and for the negative experiences that they're going through and the life lessons that they're learning, and quite literally just be grateful for what you have, but more importantly, be grateful for what you don't have. At the end of the day, we're going to get through this, we're going to recover, and our community, both locally and globally, is going to move forward. But there is always a reason. God isn't taking a coffee break. So try to learn from this experience in a positive way and use it as a positive catalyst of change instead of a negative catalyst of change in your life. People have asked me many times over the years where our free will comes into play, if life is predestined and if a psychic can tune into your future. And I always tell them, your life is destined. What is going to happen to you is supposed to happen to you. But your reactions to those experiences, those are your free will. Whether you take the experience as a negative or positive, whether you learn from it and grow, or you decide to be stagnant and to reject the lessons, if you will, that is your choice, and therein lies your free will. I hope everyone has as blessed of an Easter as possible. If you're a spiritual individual, you can watch church services online via YouTube and other social media platforms. And I encourage you to do so to sort of uplift your spirit during all of this self-isolation. As always, you can find more information about my work on my official website, www.tristanrimbaud.com. Stay safe, God bless you, and happy Easter.